Okay, so just an update on what's going on. I'm still got some things to do and making everything what I would consider industry standard, but it's a process of button up a few things as I go. So this is what you would arrive to in the dashboard, and then you would the goal set in order to gamify this, right? Because you got to make it to through the progress bar in order to make it to the next round, which is basically the onboarding wizard. This right here is basically the education app. And the education app is to basically get you prepared of what it is that this simulator is and get you prepared to place you in a place that you're interested in. Because, like I said, it's society and it's large. I can't be here to explain it 100 times or 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times. So, this is like a great way for this to be like universally streamlined because it's massive. So, anyways, there's all these little modules that one you'd have to take all the fundamentals. Like these are just required if you want to participate because if you don't understand what these mean, you're going to ask me questions. And I don't mind answering questions, but some of this stuff is like the basics. And if you take your time, this by the way, these minutes aren't accurate by the way. That's the one of the things I got to fix. But they're all like 10, 15 minutes. But the you got to take all of these and then only one initiative is required. And so when you take these are like requirements, and you got to take these training modules. After you do that, though, you then move on to the next round of like the onboarding wizard, which is like basically picking the repository, picking the team, and then kind of getting to it. When you're studying, though, learning a little bit about like the ideologies of what's going on, you can go here to study. Okay, so I made this really simple for the ecosystem explorer. This is where you're going to be, this is where all the information is. Like if you want to learn anything about the systems, like, oh, I want to learn about the Earth apps and the interfaces of civilization in this simulator. Well, go to Earth apps because it's all here. I made it streamlined for everybody. Um, I gotta fix that. Oh, there's a bug in there. I gotta fix. But and then again, it just kind of goes on and on and on for all the things you need to know about everything. So, ideologies, foundations, pretty much kind of like the framework of how it all really what's the foundations of everything. The organizational structure, which is going to be like super important because if you don't know this, then like you'll be so lost. It'll be, well, you won't even pass the test because these tests aren't easy because they're designed to where you got to pay attention. Like, I spent 7 years building this stuff. If you can't take like a few hours to like learn the system, then you'll be obviously not interested in this subject matter. But all this is to help prepare you to where when you get into the repository, you really know what's going on because there's new tools that are invented and there's terminologies that we're using throughout the repository. So if you don't know what these names are and how it's organized, I mean, it'll look like Greek to you because there's certain tools that we're using in there that are just unique. But once you understand them, they're like, it's almost like learning a new language. Once you figure it out, it's like, oh wait, now I know how to communicate correctly, and that's kind of really what it is. And yeah, so you have like this progress bar in your profiles, and then yeah, so that's pretty much it, man. I mean, obviously this is like the very bare bones, but I really try to make it super easy for everybody to like get in and figure out how this works. So it's like when you're in your toolbox logic training, and you can bookmark stuff too, right? Like if you want to bookmark something, it'll all be here. And these are obviously the things you're required. So then you just start learning, and then you click these. Again, these are like 5 minute reads. Some of them are 10-minute reads to depending on how fast you read. I read fast, so it's like all this is like easy peasy. But all this is very interesting because this shows you the level of thought and detail that went into this stuff. This wasn't like some half baked idea. Um, this was really curated at the highest level of professionalism. So that's all I got to say about that. So ultimately, what would happen, I'm going to close this up, which is when you finish like say for example, you finish all these fundamentals and then you finish one of the initiatives. Like for example, if you were to finish like a mod office initiative, and this last initiative is kind of like the grand finale, getting you really refined on like what you're going to be expected to see in those repositories, so that when you get there, you're like, oh man, I already understand what everything is because I took the test module. I know what I'm getting myself into. From there, code's going to generate, and then that code is going to be an access code, which is going to generate on the completion of completing the test module, which you'll have to pass. But once you pass, that generation code will enable you to transfer to the next portal, which is basically the onboarding wizard. And then from there, we could set up a video call. I would love to have a conversation with you because this is something I would be more apt to have a conversation with you in a video after you complete this, because I know now that you're like interested in this stuff, and I'll take time out of the day to do that and show you around in the repository that you've kind of landed in, and then explain to you like, hey, this is where we're at in this repository, and this is the current team that we have, and or maybe you want to head up a new team, but this is the initiative set that we're working on, and this is why it's vital because of XYZ. And if you want to do any collaboration, then obviously you're there, you're invited to participate. But it's more of like, it's open source, but it's open source through invitation of collaborating with those that are curious, instead of it just being like, here's an open link, anybody can start browsing around the repository without having any interest in the program whatsoever. This is kind of like providing, like, anybody can gain access to this stuff so long as they like pass the modules that they're serious, because I don't want to take time out of my day programming the ecosystem to like start handing off the repositories to people that actually don't even like what we're doing, and I'm over here spending time trying to curate stuff for you, right? Like that would be, you wouldn't do that, so I'm not going to do it. But I will take time to go over anything that you want after you pass those modules, because I'm all about it, because you have my attention, because I'm like, oh wow, you're serious, like let's go. And we have all kind of cool initiatives, man. Like these are really the initiatives, like the Earth Economics, which is like a super cool one, because it just really goes over like how the Earth Economics can work in the simulator from a EarthNet protocol, and like how that is going to be running. By the way, this is like an invention that runs on top of the TCP/IP protocol in reality. Like this isn't fictitious. The TBL DSL, which is like a domain specific language, one of my bread and butter IPs, which has been a proprietary technology for like, I don't know, 5 years, which is going to transform the way well, I'll let you figure that out when you arrive. I don't want to share too much. You'll arrive and you will find out. Earth Apps, that's going to be a real positive one, because it's going to be like all the Earth app interfaces for society. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mod Office is going to be really cool because it's like, this is like the universal office that is going to be interconnected inside each one of these interfaces. Huge deal. And this is a taxonomy for the civilization. So this is how everything's going to be sorted and audited.